I'm curious around once financial due diligence is, and maybe that financial due diligence doesn't come first. I predict it does, and correct me if I'm wrong. Probably most important to see the finances first. What would come next? Is it looking at the software? What are some of the other critical components of due diligence for a SaaS business?
Yeah, clearly. But generally, to answer your first question, generally what we see, each process is different, all right? When, because I also worked in private equity, so I also have that vision of being an investor. So generally speaking, when you're in the first phase of reviewing a business, either as a private equity investor, you do that review yourself, so high level review of financials, because that's obviously key for the valuation, knowing how much debt you need to raise, etc., etc. Or second option is you can work with financial due diligence consultants that will make you a high level red flag report. So that's kind of the two things that we generally do. Either red flag report, which is going to include all the essentials, so high level P&L, balance sheets, cash flow, and a quality of earnings, which is one of the key pieces of any financial due diligence reports. And then during phase two, most of the time happen once the potential buyer has an exclusivity with the seller, which means that they are the only one bidding and in a period where they know they can start spending more money on consultants because they're not going to get the deal stolen by competitors with a better offer, basically. And so generally, when you run a M&A process well, when you get to phase two, which meant that you've already made the first financial analysis and you're in that zone of exclusivity, you try to run all the due diligence in parallel. Because you won't, if you were doing them one by one, the deal would take way too long. And if you're a professional investors in particular, you're trying to be efficient with your time, because then you want to move on to the next deal. If you're not a professional one, sure, you have less time. However, know that the longer a deal takes, the more chances you have for the deal to fall through. And so, generally speaking, in SaaS due diligence, the financial due diligence are super important. The tech due diligence is also very important if you're buying a SaaS product. I guess for an e-commerce product, that would be different, right? Because you don't really have technology involved. And if you have more time, more money to spend, want to be safer, or trying to make a bigger investment, buying a bigger company. Others that can be quite important are the tax due diligence, because sometimes they may have like a huge impact on the deal. Also, legal due diligence, making sure all the contracts are in order, that all the employees are paid according to the law, and that all the taxes are actually paid as well. And an important one is a market due diligence, which is also called commercial due diligence. So while tax, legal, financial, and tech due diligence have a tendency to focus on the company, the market due diligence is going to look at the market on which the company is operating. So they will look at competitors, how competitors perform, what are the different countries you could expand, for instance. They will also look, at your different products and potentially make recommendation on which products you should focus all your attention on, and so on.